Hello students, welcome. In this video, we are going to discuss the past simple, just the generals of past simple. So, the first thing we have to know about the past simple is that the verb is the most important part because the verb changes. And as the verb changes, we can see that the entire sentence is transformed into past. In English, we have two types of verbs. So first, we have the regular verbs. When we talk about regular verbs, we talk about the type of verbs that in past finish always in the same way. So all regular verbs in past finish in a ed form. For example, want, which is a regular verb, in past would be wanted. Look would be looked. Use would be used. Work would be worked. Call would be called. Ask would be asked. And need would be needed. So for example, in present I can say I want, let's say today I want a coffee. In past, this would be yesterday I wanted a coffee. I wanted a coffee. Always with the regular verbs, we finish the verb with ed. This is very important. Most of the verbs are regular verbs. But also we have some cases in which we have irregular verbs. Now the difference with regular verbs is that irregular verbs don't have a specific rule. Irregular verbs change entirely. For example, have in past would be had, go would be went, say would be said, see would be saw, take would be took, know would be knew, and think would be thought. There's not one rule to identify the past tense with irregular verbs. So you have to memorize these irregular verbs. You have to learn them by heart. Now, in the affirmative form, we would say a sentence as in present, but the only change would be the verb. The verb needs to be in past. For example, I can say I needed a cup of tea. I needed a cup of tea. I said really bad things. Yesterday, we worked really hard. And Alison went to a party last weekend. In this case, we can say there are two regular verbs. Needed is regular and worked is regular. On the other hand, said is irregular and went is irregular. So they change. But these verbs tell us that the entire sentence, that all the sentence is in past. Let's see now the case of the negatives. In the negatives, we don't need to change the verb. Why? Because we are going to use the word did and the word not, or the contracted form didn't. Let's see this example. I didn't need a cup of tea. We have didn't in this case. Didn't, it tells me two things. One, we are talking about the past, and two, we are talking about a negative form. As didn't is telling me that we are talking about the past, the verb doesn't need to change. So we are not saying needed, we are only saying need. Didn't need. I didn't need a cup of tea, and I know all the sentence is in past. Another example would be, I did not say really bad things. In this case, I can say did not. Did not is the same as didn't. So I did not say really bad things. And as I have did not, the verb say doesn't have any change. I can say yesterday we didn't work really hard. We have didn't, which is indicating me I am talking about the past and the negative form. So the verb work remains the same, no changes. And Alison did not go to a party last weekend. I have didn't know. So the word go, the verb go, remains the same with no changes. With the interrogative form, we are going to start with the word did. For example, in this case, I am starting with the word did. The word did is indicating me two things. One, I am talking about the past, and two, I am talking about a question. So as I am talking about the past and about a question, the verb doesn't change. So the question in this case is, did I need a cup of tea? Did I need a cup of tea? We always finish a question with the question mark. Let's see a different example now. Did I say really bad things? Again, the did is indicating me past tense and an interrogative. Did I say really bad things? Did we work really hard? Did Alison go to a party last weekend? Sometimes we can ask questions or do the interrogative, but not starting with did. We can start with WH questions. What, when, where, why, how, which, how long, how many. In that case, we add the WH question at the beginning and the rest remains the same. For example, why did I need a cup of tea? When did I say really bad things? Where did we work really hard? How did Alison go to a party last weekend? So in this case, the structure is the same. We have the did, the verbs don't have any change, but we add the WH question at the beginning. Okay? Thank you very much for your attention.